Hey Chickies! Basically, this is gonna be the story time of this guy that he did a bunch of other things. He lied to me, he ditched me, he led me on. It's just like a mix of all these like terrible things and just one big story time that adds up to like this guy being so terrible and so like just, I don't even know. You know what, you guys will hear it in the story. But yeah. If you guys are excited for this story time or you want more story times in the future, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and stay subscribed to my channel. And also, if you're not following me on my social media already, my username is BeautyChickee on Twitter, Instagram, YouNow, all of that stuff. So you should make sure to go follow me. And you know, if you go on my YouNow and you fan me, I do daily broadcasts. So yeah. So that being said, I want to hop right into the story time. So let's get started. Oh boy, where do I start with this story time? Okay, let me pull up messages first because I still have messages with this little. Okay, so because you guys were commenting that Billy and Bob are too generic names to be naming people in my story time, we're gonna call this guy, I don't know, let's call him Blake, because Blake is kind of different. Let's call him Blake, not his actual name, obviously. I can use real names in my story times, but yeah, let's call this guy Blake. So this guy, particularly Blake, he used to be a YouTuber. I say used to because he deleted all his videos and he kind of just stopped YouTube, and that was that. But yeah, at the time, he was doing YouTube. So I met this guy back in 9th grade because he followed me on Twitter, and then he messaged me and he was like, hey, like, you have a really successful channel, keep up the good work, and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. You know, it meant a lot to me because, you know, I mean, my channel wasn't as big as it is now, and you know, even somebody was complimenting me on my channel when I didn't have as many subscribers, you know, it felt really good. So I was like, oh, thanks, I just checked out your channel too, it's really great and everything, and he was like, thank you so much. So then we kind of just started talking through that. And at the time, he had a girlfriend, and so, you know, we weren't flirting or anything, but then he ended up breaking up with his girlfriend because she was like a psychopath. And then what happened is me and him started to talk more, we started being all flirty and everything like that, and so me and him kind of had a thing going on for a very, 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 very long time. Now, he doesn't live in New York where I live, he lives in a different state, so you know, it was like we were talking and flirting and all that stuff, but it was never gonna work out because, you know, long distance, I don't do that. I've tried it once before. It was terrible. He would always tell me like, oh, you know, like, you're the one I want to marry when I'm older and stuff like that. Like, you're my dream girl and like all this like cute stuff. And I have messages on my phone because we used to talk through Twitter DM because his phone was like out of whack. So we used to talk through Twitter DM, and he's like, you know, the minute I see you, I'm gonna look you in the eye and tell you how much I love you. Just be prepared for that and stuff like that, because we were talking about him coming to New York. And yeah, here's the thing. This is where everything goes downhill. It is when he told me he was going to be in New York in April of 2015. So he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come to like New York in April and everything. I'm gonna be able to see you and like all this stuff. He's like, oh yeah, I'm like staying with my aunt, and like his aunt lives like 40 minutes away from me. So he's like, I'm gonna come and see you, I'll pick you up from school, like all these like amazing things. And obviously I was really excited because I had like a huge crush on him for like such a long time. And I was like, you know, we're finally gonna be able to see each other in person, you know, like hug each other and like just, it's gonna be amazing. Okay, so basically what happened now is I'm messaging him, it's in April, and it is the day before he comes, and he said that he was coming in on like the Friday night or whatever, so he was gonna take the train from the city on Saturday to come to Long Island to see me. So I told him, like, you know, you gotta go to Penn Station, you gotta take this train, you gotta go to like this stop and everything like that in order, you know, for me to see him and like all of those shenanigans. So then he didn't reply or anything to like when I told him like the plans, like, you know, take this train and everything like that. And so that was that. And so the next day I texted him and I'm like, hey, did you like read what I said to you last night? And he said, yes, I did. And I was like, okay, what time do you think you're gonna be in the city tomorrow? So I know which train to take, because now I was planning, instead of him coming on the train here, he had his car. So I was like, you know, what if I just go into the city and we could drive around and stuff like that? That'd be even better. So I was like, I need to know what time you're gonna be in the city tomorrow. That way I know what train to take, because you know, like it takes like maybe like an hour and a half to get to the city from where I am, you know, on the train. So I was like, you know, I gotta know what train to take and everything so I could be there like on time. And he's like, oh, I don't know what time I'm gonna be there. And then I told him like, you know, are you gonna be able to text me when you're there and everything like that? And he said that he's staying in Philadelphia for the first day that he's there, and then he's gonna try to make it out to New York City. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And he said that the first day that he'll be there, he'll be in Philadelphia, and his first official day was on the Saturday. And so Saturday was the only day I could really hang out, because then on Sunday I couldn't be out for that long since it was a school night. So I told him, I was like, you know, like if you're gonna be in Philadelphia for the first day, maybe we should just do it after school one day, because I can't really be out like that late on Sunday and everything like that, because I had things to do. And then he asked me what school I go to, so I told him, and he was like, I'm gonna come and see you. and I was like at my school on Monday, and he was like, Monday could work. And I was like, oh, okay, and everything like that. I was like really confused. I was like, okay, so he's gonna like come to my school instead. So now he's coming to Long Island again. So it went from him about to come to Long Island, then me going to the city, and then him coming to Long Island again. So now I'm like, I don't even know. And then I realized that I had my dress fitting for my Sweet 16 on the Monday that he wanted to come and pick me up after school. So I was like, oh, I can't on Monday. I have my dress fitting. Let's do Tuesday. And he said right now that he was at a wedding, so Tuesday could work. And I was like, you're at a wedding? Like, he didn't tell me he was going to New York for a wedding, but he's like, oh yeah, like I'm in Philly and I'm at a wedding. And I was like, what are you doing at a wedding? I told him, I was like, what are you doing at a wedding? And he's like, that's why I came down to go to a wedding. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I mean, there's no problem with that, but you know, it was just like really confusing. So then I was like, oh, like, are you serious about coming on Tuesday and everything? Because then he told me, he's like, oh yeah, I'll come on Tuesday. And I'm like, all right, that sounds great and everything. And so I told him what time I get out of school and all that stuff. And he was like, okay, am I allowed to go inside the school? And I was like, after the time that I get out, yes, you are. But you know, if you could just wait for me in the parking lot or something like that, then I'll walk out and go to you and everything. And then we could go wherever. We could drive into the city, we could drive around Long Island. It really didn't matter. All right, so now this is on the Monday. I was like, you know, like, I don't know if you're in the city or Philly, but the city from my house and everything and from my school is like an hour and 30 minutes. And so I told him, like, you know, like, when you come here, just park, I'll come to you and everything. And he's like, yeah, I have a car here, so I could just park it somewhere, and then we could walk around, like, in the city and everything. So he was gonna come to my school, pick me up, drive back to the city, and then we were gonna walk around the city. So I just, like, confirmed with him. I was like, so you're, like, picking me up from school, driving me back to the city, like, all of that stuff. And he's like, yeah, if that's okay, I think I'm staying till Friday or Thursday. And I was like, all right, that's perfectly fine and everything like that, but could you drive me home after the city, because obviously I'm gonna need a ride home. And he said, of course. And I was like, all right, I'm super excited. So that was on the Monday. And so Tuesday we were finally gonna meet. He was gonna pick me up from school. It was gonna be wonderful. So basically that Tuesday I woke up, and I don't know if you guys know, but I never look good for school. Like, never. I never wear makeup to school. I never do my hair for school. I never look good for school. I never dress the part for school. I just don't do that. I wear like sweatpants, Uggs, and a sweater every single day to school. I don't do my makeup. I put my hair up. I just look like a mess for school, because honestly I don't have anybody to impress there. So I'm just like, you know, like, I just want to go to school, get my work done, and like, that'll be life. But however, since he was picking me up directly from school on this Tuesday, I was like, you know, I should probably put some effort into looking good. So I literally woke up at like 5:30 in the morning just so I could do my hair, makeup, get like the perfect outfit and everything like that. Like, I did everything I could just so I could look super, super perfect and nice. So then I'm in school on the Tuesday, and it comes to the point where it's like 12. It was like 12:40 or something like that. It says right here that I messaged him at 12:41 p.m. and my school ends at like 2 o'clock. So I was like, you know, there's like less than 2 hours until this kid comes and gets me. So I'm like freaking out and everything, and I'm like, is he still coming? Because he never messaged me or anything. So I text him and I go, are you still coming? Sorry, I'm just like anxious and everything. And he goes, sorry, I just woke up. I had a long night last night. And what's the address? So I gave him the address to my school. And I told him, I was like, you know, if you want to get here on time, I suggest you start driving right now. Because it was 12:46. If the kid's driving from the city back to where I am, obviously it's going to take a long time. And he's not going to get there till like maybe like 2:33. So I was like, you know, if you want to make it here on time, you should like start driving right now. And he goes, oh shoot, okay, is there traffic? I was like, there shouldn't be a lot and everything like that, and don't worry, if you're late, then it's okay, I'll wait here, I get out in an hour and everything. But I was like, you know, if you leave right now, I think there should be enough time for you to get back here and everything like that. He's like, according to my GPS, it's saying it's gonna take me an hour and 45 minutes. And I was like, oh, well, you know, drive right now. We'll either be at the school, or you could just get me from my house. You know, I could go home and pick me up from my house instead. And he goes, would it be easier just to come to your house? And I was like, yeah, sure, and everything like that. So I gave him my address, and I just went home after school, and I just waited. And then at 1 o'clock, he's like, okay, I'll let you know when I could come. And I was just like, are you leaving like soon? Because I want to spend the most time as possible with you, obviously. So, you know, the sooner you leave, the sooner we get to spend more time together, you know? So like, that was that. He was like, oh yeah, I'll like tell you like when I can come. And I'm just like, can't you come right now? Like, he was like, I should be able to come as soon as possible. I just have to wait until my buddy's family leaves because they came to visit. And I was like, okay, do you think you're gonna leave anytime before 2? And he said yes. And I was like, all right, that's fine, that's great. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm getting out of school, I'll be home and I'll be ready. So then it gets to the point where it's 2:30 and I'm home and I'm waiting for him, and you know, I'm still like all dressed, I have my shoes on, everything, I'm ready to go. And so I messaged him, I'm like, are you coming yet? And then he messaged me back at 3 o'clock and he goes, are you gonna be home all day? And I was like, yeah, but like if you leave later than like 10 minutes from now, you're gonna get caught in rush hour and it's gonna like take you forever to get here. It'll take them like a friggin' two and a half hours. Like, that's ridiculous. He goes, I wasn't able to go before because I had to take my brother and his friends to the mall. And I was like thinking, I'm like, he said that he's only coming with his one friend, not his brother and his brother's friends. So why the hell is he taking his brother and his friends to the mall? And I was thinking, I'm like, there's no way he could be taking him to like a mall in like New York City or something like that. That's like ridiculous. And I was like just thinking to myself, I was just like, okay, this is starting to get really sketchy, you know, because he keeps canceling on me since Saturday and it's Tuesday and he still hasn't left. So I'm like, okay, this is getting really weird. So I was like, you know, I don't know if you want to come now. I could only hang out till like 9-ish and I would have to be home by 10. And he goes, I'm sorry, I'm just really busy. I'm the only one here with a car. And I was like, I could tell. And I was like, do you still want to come today or how about tomorrow because you aren't busy, you know? If you come here tomorrow, it might be better because we'll have more time to see each other. And he goes, all right, if that's what you want, then sure. I would have had more time, but a lot of family wants to see me and stuff. And I was like, you know, that's reasonable and everything like that. I'm like, that's fine. But I was like, you know, just want to make sure that you're not busy tomorrow because, you know, I was like dedicated to seeing him. I was like, I am going to see him before he leaves New York. This is going to happen. Even though I was a little bit sketched out, I was like, you know, I'm still going to make it happen. So he goes, I know that you're excited to see me. I'm excited to see you too. And it would have been easier if my aunt didn't move. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Your aunt didn't move. And he was like, yeah, because my aunt moved. And I was like, I thought you were staying at your aunt's. Your aunt's is the one like that's like 40 minutes away, right? And he's just like, yeah, no, she moved, so now we're staying in Philly. And I'm like, you're driving from Philly to New York every day to be in the city, and you didn't even tell me that your aunt moved. Like, where the hell did your aunt go? This kid is a sketchball, let me tell you. So that was that. And then he goes, and I think I'm leaving Thursday. So not only is he not leaving on the Friday now, he's leaving on the Thursday. So that leaves me only Wednesday to see him. And then Thursday he's leaving. Because this is a Tuesday, we're supposed to hang out. And he was dedicated to me, and I was dedicated to him. And then, I don't know what happened. Just freaking fell apart because he's a little. So I told him, I was like, you know, well, it's like Wednesday and shirt and everything. And he said, I'll try. My family's a pain in the butt and I want to see you, so I'll make sure. And I was like, okay, well, tomorrow's like the last day because then after that, I'm not going to be able to see you. And then he's like, I'll be back in the summer though. And I was like, okay, but like I wanted to see you this time because he told me that he was coming in like maybe like August of 2014 and now it's April of 2015. I've waited like the longest time to see this kid. You know, he's been through like my ups and downs with me and I just want to meet him and I want to see him. Like, what's the problem with that? And then he goes, I'll try my hardest, okay? I wish I would have just went up only to see you. And I was like, same, but just let me know your schedule for tomorrow. So like now I'm getting fed up because not only did he ditch out on Saturday and then Sunday was a bad day. Monday I had my dress fitting. Tuesday we're supposed to hang out and he completely ditched me. And now we're going on to Wednesday. And what do you think that, what are the odds? Like, by the way this video is going, what do you think's happening? Like just take a wild guess and leave it in the comments even before you finish this video. Because just take a wild guess because it's pretty predictable, let me tell you. And then I told him, I was like, do you think you'll be able to get me tomorrow at 2? And he's like, I hope so. And I was like, okay, just try for me and everything. And he's like, I will. And I was like, you know, like I need to know in advance though because I looked fabulous for school on Tuesday. I'm not gonna go into school looking fabulous on Wednesday too just so I could get shot down again because that's what happened on Tuesday. You know, I don't wake up 5:30 in the morning to put on makeup, do my hair, make sure I look like extra good for nobody. So I'm just like, you know, like this kid's supposed to pick me up and then he ditched me on Tuesday. What if he does the same thing on Wednesday and then I come home and I'm waiting like hours for him to pick me up? Like, I'm not doing that. I go into school looking like crap. It's what I do. Everybody knows it's what I do. They'll like see me. There are like people in my school that see me and they're just like, you look so amazing on YouTube. And then you come to school and it's like, what the hell happened? Like, you look like you got ran over by a truck. And I'm like, listen, chill. I don't come to school to look fabulous for YouTube. That makes no sense. But that's off the topic. So back on the topic. Let's finish this. And I told him, like, you know, I want to know in advance. That way, like, I could look good or like not look good and stuff. And he's like, you look good every day, but you know, I don't know when everybody's coming over tomorrow or who's, you know, I was like, I don't know. So that was that. And I'm like, whatever, just focus on seeing your family first, and then if you have the time, come and see me. And then, you know, it's 9 at night, and I'm just like, did you figure anything out? He's like, I could be there around 3. So he would be there 3 p.m. Wednesday. I get out of school around 2. So, you know, it'd be like an hour gap in between. That's not bad at all. So I was like, are you sure? And he's like, I'm trying my best. And I'm like, okay, well, let me know when you wake up. And so next morning comes, now it's Wednesday, And I'm like, I don't know and everything like that. So I'm like, I might as well look good just in case. So I wake my ass up at 5:30 in the freaking morning again to do my hair and makeup. And then I'm in school and I go, are you coming today or no? And he goes, I have to say bye to one of the teachers. I went to the school and I think. And I'm like, what? You went to the school? Like, what are you talking about? You went to the school. And then I was just like, your school? And he's like, no, the school here. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this kid has lived in the same place all of his life. And he's like, I have to say bye to one of the teachers here. Meaning, he had to say bye to one of the teachers in Philly. And I was like, what? Like, that makes no sense. What are you talking about? You have to say bye to one of the teachers there. You never went to school there. What's the point of that? Then I was talking to my friend Emily and so with that, we're at lunch and I'm telling her this entire thing. She's like, are you sure he's even in New York? And I was like, honestly, by this point, I don't know. He probably isn't. So I message him and I go, you're not even here, are you? And he goes, no, I'm not in New York. I'm in Delaware. Like, what the like, this kid tells me that he's in Philly first for one day, and then he's gonna come to New York, and then he's staying in New York, and now he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm not in New York, I'm in Delaware. Like, what is your logic? I was so confused. I'm like, what is this kid talking about? He's in Delaware, he's not in New York. And I was like, so you're gonna drive from Delaware to Long Island and pick me up by 3 o'clock, and it is 11 a.m. And I'm like, the drive from Delaware is 4 hours. You're gonna drive 4 hours to spend a couple hours with me in Long Island. That makes 0 sense. And you're in Delaware saying goodbye to a teacher. He lives nowhere near Delaware. Like, what? I don't get it. I really don't get it. So then I go, I know you're not here. Listen, I've been wanting to say something to you, but I just saw that you were in your home state from your Snapchat last night, because I went on his Snapchat story and he was hanging out with his friends and some of that, and he was inside the school with all his teachers, and I was just really confused. I was like, okay, so this kid is uploading Snapchats of him in his school, in his classes, but he's telling me that he's in New York. And I'm like, okay, obviously the kid's lying to me. So I'm just like, I saw your Snapchat story last night and I got so upset because I've been excited to see you for like months now just to figure out that you're not even here and everything. And then he's like, I told you I was there since Saturday morning. And then I go, I am so confused. Will you be seeing me today or not? That's all I want to know. And then ever since that moment, I have not heard a single word back from him. He has not messaged me, he has not called me, he has not FaceTimed me, he has not Skyped me. I tried to for like the week after that, and then I was like, okay, obviously he was lying to me this entire time. Like, that's like such like a whole move. He just like completely cuts me off. And I'm like, okay, so first, you tell me you're coming to New York in August of 2014. April of 2015, when you say that you will be here for a week, you are leading me on, telling me all these great things, being like, oh my God, you're such a perfect girl. I wish I lived in New York so I could date you. I want the girl I married to be you because you're perfect. Like, saying all these like amazing things. And I was like, butterflies in my stomach and everything, because I was like, oh my God, this guy's perfect, but he doesn't live in New York. That's the only thing. So I was like so excited to see him, and then all of a sudden he just pulls this on me and then drops me completely. Like, okay, thanks, asshole. So that was that, and ever since I've not spoke to him, obviously, because he knows that I was right. I called him out on it. You're not in New York, you're back where you are and everything like that. Like, it was ridiculous. I was like, okay, this is so dumb. And Emily was just like, I told you he wasn't here and everything. And I was like, yeah, I know. And that was that. So I was like, great. So that was that. And that's really it to the story. But one little addition. After all this happens, a month ago, he DMs me on Twitter. And I'm like, oh God, he DM'd me on Twitter. I wonder what this is gonna be about, because I swear to God, if he messages me and is like, oh, hey, gorgeous, I'm gonna be like, no. But that is not what he said. He messages me and goes, I need you to retweet a song. I'm trying to win a contest, because like he does DJing and stuff. And I'm like, okay. I message him back and I go, LOL, with a dot. You ditched me in April. Led me on. This kid got so serious. He's like, I want you to be my wife one day. And I was just like, I wouldn't be freaking complaining about that, because I was so into him in that way. I can't. Why? But I'm just like, okay, so this kid's telling me to retweet stuff so he could win a contest. So now he's using me for my social media, that way that he could win a contest. Meanwhile, he led me on for months and then ditched me for an entire week in April, and then has the nerve a month ago, you know, in freaking December of 2015 to message me and be like, hey, like, could you retweet this for me so I could win this contest? Like, no, I will not retweet it for you, you like, I don't understand logic. I don't understand it. I don't understand this kid's logic. And you know what? He's off YouTube now anyways. Like, he stopped YouTube, like, randomly, and I went to his channel after he messaged me that so I could see if he had any new videos up, and all of his videos were deleted. And I was just like, okay then. So that is my story. That was my story of a guy that ended up being a boy, a guy that ditched me, a guy that was a liar. He was just like everything bad, just in one man. But anyways, I'm gonna cool down now, and I want to do our outro card. So let's. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and stay subscribed to my channel. You can do that by clicking right next to me, and also right near that button is my social media at BeautyChickee on Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff. So suggest that you go and fan me on because I do daily broadcasts, and also go follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, I post a lot on there, so you can check me out. If you guys want to check out my last video, it was a Calling Chickees part 2, and if you're interested in being in part 3, then make sure to go watch the video. It is right below me. And then right next to that, if you guys aren't aware, my merchandise line is out now. You know, hoodies, shirts, hats, all of that stuff, you could buy it. So by clicking on the annotation on the screen, it will redirect you to where you can buy my merchandise. And also, of course, the link is always below, and the links to everything I am mentioning in this outro card is all below. I am going to go. I am hungry. I'm gonna go eat some ice cream. So yeah, I hope you chickies enjoyed the video, and I am going to go. So with that being said, ciao, ciao, chickies. Mwah.